So what happens with virtualization? Say we want to get an average utilization rate. Our goal is 60% utilization for our servers. What happens? So if we actually go with the Sun has these 4U quad-core 8-way systems that we base this off of, we can see that we've consolidated down to 6 servers, doing the exact same workload that we were doing on the 150 servers. Now comes the peak watts and off-peak watts. So again, peak watts is when the data centers are in the most demand. So off-peak is that time when the data center is really not under that much demand. So what we've accounted for is we've accounted for DRS, Dynamic Resource Scheduler from VMware. Essentially, we'll migrate virtual machines off of unnecessary servers and then physically power down those servers. Going back to, I think a couple of people have mentioned it, one of the best ways to save energy in the data center is to shut down unnecessary machines. So that's what we've accounted for here. So based off of that, we're using 3,000 peak watts now. Off-peak watts, we're shutting down 30% of our machines in the evening hours, or off-peak time for the data center. So we're using 2,010 watts. 5,000 watts, that's all we're using now. Server electric costs, again, just to power those servers, $4,800. $6,000 to cool those servers. Still the same exact ratio as before, but you can see those numbers have gone down drastically. And we have a grand total of $10,870 that we're spending to power and cool those servers. So only be fair, where are we 5 years from now? What does it look like? Same growth rate. Data is going to continue to grow. It's something that we all have to deal with. Now we've only grown to 10 servers. We're using a little over 8,000 watts, and it's costing us $18,000. So you can see a pretty dramatic savings here. And another thing that I can bet, or another thing that you can see, is that no longer do you have to worry about building an extra data center. So what does that mean in the end? We've gone from 150 servers to 6, 49,700 watts down to 5,010, $107,000 in cost to 10,000. And we've reduced it from 10 racks to 1. That is a pretty strong and compelling message when you're thinking about a green strategy and how am I going to reduce energy in the data center. Because again, fewer servers, less energy, less carbon that's put out into the atmosphere. What is that? That's 90% decrease. What's the return on investment here? And where is your break-even point? Are you going to break even? So we have the power savings and the capital cost. After about 4.8 years, through 4.8 years, you've actually been putting money into advancing your infrastructure with virtualization and new servers. Everything after 4.8 years, the money that you've saved in power and cooling alone has paid for everything that you've done the previous 4.8 years. So that means everything to the right of that dot, you can call that profit. Maybe profit's the bad, not the right word, but those are funds that are freed up for you that you can use in other areas. So what about 5 years? An ROI. You see I have a 9.2 there. What does that mean? 9.2, that essentially means that you've gotten 109.2% return on investment. That's a pretty strong investment and a great place to start.